Look, Leah, so there's, now that we've gone through the diary card and we've got our agenda, there's something I want to add to the agenda today. And it's just something I want to talk to you about. I've been thinking about you and with a suggestion of a different way to do something that I think might help you, okay?
Okay.
Nothing you have to worry about. I think it's just, this is
Okay,
why it takes a while for a therapist to get to know a patient and then to have an idea. So we're going to do that.
All right.
All right?
All right.
And it's important that I'm telling you this idea at a time that you're actually in a little bit better mood than on some sessions. So I think this is a good time to do it. All right? So the first thing to say is that, yes, I've been going over, thinking about some of the places, God, there's some children's book with a name like this. Think of all the places.
All the places you'll go?
All the places we'll go, yeah, but right, oh, that's right, that's the one. All the places we'll go. But then, I've been thinking about all the bad places you end up before you cut yourself. And when things are just bad for you, what gets you into such a bad place, such a negative state? So, and I've been putting them together and thinking about you and thinking, how can you change that, okay? So I want to put something up on the board about how I see this and then work with you on what we can do about it and then try it out once so that you can then take it with you in your life if we try it once and if it's helpful. So.
Okay.
I'm going to get up and do this. So here's the idea is that, and we can remake this however you think it should, because this has to fit for your mind, not just my mind. So this is going to be a chain. It sort of goes like this. Actually, it's a little different now that I think of it, so I shouldn't draw it in advance. There's a little different twist on it. So this is when a situation where X is a person, could be any person, could be a boyfriend or a prospective or guy you like,
Okay.
or it could be somebody else you want a friendship with, it could be lots of people. X shows no obvious interest. Or you could say, obviously X shows no interest, but it's like, I'm going to move this so I can not fall over my own chair, all right? So X shows no obvious interest, all right?
Okay.
Would we agree that that happens sometimes?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So we could plug in other people to this, but we're talking about X. And what happens when that happens is you have the thought, X is not interested. Right?
Yeah.
X is not interested. And you know I've challenged that sometimes you come to that conclusion in situations where someone's showing no obvious interest, but actually they might have interest, but you wouldn't know it. But you have your own read of that because you're there and I'm not there. And along with that is a feeling of feeling hurt, and sometimes you even said that it's catastrophic. It really hurts. It's terrible. It's a catastrophe.
Yeah.
Catastrophe. That's what it was. Not catastrophic. You've said more than once. It's a catastrophe. Okay. This was hurt. All right. So you have feelings. And they go along with this thought that so-and-so's not interested. All right. Now, I already think this is a problem because I think you're jumping the gun in making this decision. And I think it's because you've been hurt so bad so many times, so disappointed.
Yeah.
And so then once you're in this position, it seems like another thing that goes even worse for you is I am pathetic. I'm pathetic because I keep thinking that somebody would be interested in me. Of course they're not. And I would say, I will add that. Of course they're not. Of course X is not interested. And then what happens from that is, I don't know, things go downhill. I just put that away, I think. but what that generally is what I'll call inadvertent consequences. Inadvertent bad consequences happen after you get into the rut of I am pathetic. Because once you get there, it seems like, Leah, you think of all the other reasons why you're pathetic. It's just like you start making an argument that you're a pathetic person. And, that you're hopeless, right? That makes sense?
Yep.
Would you say this sort of puts it how it is, or would you have changed any of this? Look at it again. I want to make sure we get this right.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so if this is a sequence that makes sense to you, I would suggest to you that there's like two problems in it that I've said. One is that you come to a conclusion that someone's not interested, and then there's this other, and you're really hurt, and understandably. And then I am pathetic is another one.
Yeah.
Where it leads to more shame.
Yeah.
And by the way, I don't know, I may not have ever said this to you, but actually when people who study self-cutting a lot, the emotion that people have that causes the most self-cutting is shame. More than anger, more than others. And I think what happens is that this takes you deeper. Now, so here's the thing that I want to go over with you. If this is the sequence of things that happen to you that get you in trouble, and this is where downhill includes cutting and just terrible, it's terrible for you inside.
Yeah.
These now I want to have under this, what are the replacement behaviors that mean, and that includes thoughts, feelings, and anything you can do that could change this. But here's the thing, this is a complicated, because there's two things that I could suggest doing, but I want to focus on this one as the problem. If you try to do both at once, it's harder. So let's say you get to the point where you decide, rightly or wrongly, you decide somebody's not interested in me, I feel really hurt.
Yeah.
Now, and then you go right to this, and this snowballs into a lot of things, about your past and your future. How can we find a different way to react to this? So we're talking about a replacement of just this part from here to here. Like, what can you do so that you counter I am pathetic?
So say I'm not pathetic?
Okay, well, put down everything we could do. You could say,
Is that what you mean by counter?
yeah, but anything that can help break this moving to here. So if that worked,
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, that's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
No.
What if you say, why wouldn't it work? This may
'Cause I
be a
feel
clue to what
pathetic.
will work.
Because I feel pathetic.
Because you feel pathetic.
Yes.
Is there a difference between feeling pathetic and being pathetic?
I guess a little bit. I have the thought like all the time, but not be doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes I am doing something pathetic and having the thought I'm pathetic.
Okay, maybe here, I was just thinking, part of the problem of the word pathetic is to say X is not interested is not judgmental towards anybody. It's just your read of reality, right? So-and-so's not interested.
Yeah.
And of course that hurts.
Yeah.
But this is, I think, closer to being a judgment. I am
Yeah.
pathetic. You could say it's a fact, but I think it's a real negative spin on you, right? So I would think one thing would be how to practice the skill of non-judgmental about this. Like, what would be a non-judgmental way to react to this? So we can come back to that. Does that make sense to you? I think this first one, you're right. That gets the idea that we're trying to come up with something where you don't end up feeling pathetic, but I don't think just saying it would do it. In fact, I've found with some people, if you just say it, it actually can make it worse. Because then you think you're even pathetic that you're saying that you're not pathetic.
Yeah,
right?
it would not work.
It would not work.
No.
But trying to find a different way to react to this, if you could stop time right here and say, oh, these are terrible feelings I have. So-and-so's not interested. I really feel hurt. It's devastating to me. All right. It's bad enough already, right? How to get through that without ending up thinking you're pathetic. So how to have a non-judgmental reframe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of this. All right, let's come back to it of what it would be. How else could you counter the idea that you're pathetic here? Well, if it's a judgment, that's part of being non-judgmental. So, you know what? In some ways, I think that this step is worse for you even than the step to cut yourself.
You're the one that doesn't want me to cut myself.
I don't,
What do you mean?
and I don't want now. And I don't want. I'm starting to think this is like cutting in your mind. It's like taking a razor in your mind and saying, I'm pathetic. Look at me. And then that leads on to physical self-cutting, but I actually think this is where the damage starts to be done.
Yeah.
Now that I think of it. So how can we have you go somewhere else instead of here?
Okay.
So one is to have a non-judgmental way of thinking of this, which we'll work on in a minute. But is there anything else that helps you?
It'll be okay.
It will be okay. Well, what I like about that one, it depends what you mean by it'll be okay. If you mean you come out of this feeling really hurt, it's really painful, that it will be okay. If you say to yourself, okay, this is really bad. I really feel terrible, but I know it will eventually pass. Things will get better. It will be okay. It will pass. It's sort of like self-talk that's more optimistic.
Yeah.
It will pass. Or you could say, it might, with a very small might, not even be true that he's not interested or somebody's not interested. I know you don't like that one with me, but we'll. I'm just trying to think out loud any possibilities. How about the distress tolerance skills, of trying to not, that idea of distress tolerance, you remember distress tolerance skills? That this main idea is to manage your distress, which is happening here. Here's your distress, in a way that doesn't make things worse. Mm-hmm. This is what makes things worse.
Right.
And then cutting is your solution to that.
Yeah.
They all go together in a way. So what would be distress tolerance skills? We could come back and talk about that. So let's just take it this far right now, because there might be other things. I'm sure there are other things. But non-judgmental. How would you, I want us to be concrete. Let's say you're feeling this now, Leah. You've just been rejected, or you think you've been rejected. At least somebody's not shown interest. And you're hurt. What would be a non-judgmental way of thinking about you being hurt?
I'm not good at this. Non-judgmental way of being hurt.
Nobody's good at this, by the way. I'm having trouble myself thinking of exactly what it would be. For you to say, it's sort of like
Can
how...
it just be like, I'm feeling hurt?
How about it could be, of course I feel hurt. That's non-judgmental. It's like, in a way, it could be, yeah, of course. Whoops. Of course I feel hurt. Of course I feel hurt. I mean, my hopes were up again. Right?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you're pathetic. That's true of everybody. So another one might be, could it be that it would work to say, I don't know if it would work for you. Would it work to say, well, no, anybody would feel bad if they feel rejected by someone. Okay. Everybody feels hurt. But you don't think people feel as hurt as you, well, you don't think people get as
I
rejected
don't think
as you.
people have been rejected as much as I have, but
Yeah.
but no, I know that I do know people that they break up, so I know that they're hurt, but
Everybody feels terrible when they feel rejected. Yeah, it might not be the one you'd use as much.
okay.
A non-judgmental reframe of this would be something like, maybe this isn't the end of the world. That'd be a hard one. At the moment, you usually do feel like it's catastrophic.
It might be
means the world's
invalidating.
going away. You might be invalidating yourself. Yeah, we don't want that. We want more of a wise mind answer.
Yeah.
I think, of course, I feel hurt. Sounds like that would be more acceptable than these others.
Yeah.
Let's go with that for now. Because we can refine this later.
Okay.
Now, will it help to say, it'll be okay, it'll pass? Like, I recognize I'm in a terrible state of mind.
Yeah, like, of course I feel hurt. It will get better.
It will get better, and I know that.
Yeah, because it's not as crazy horrible
Yeah.
about David as it was. So.
Yeah. So, of course I feel hurt, it'll get better. That doesn't mean that I'm deciding my life will get better, or that it'll all work out. It isn't like if you said to yourself, don't worry, there'll be a happy ending, that would not work, right? Because that's invalidating, that's not,
yeah.
you don't know.
No.
That's like out of touch. But this is in touch, it will get better. All right, so you got that one and this. What about it might not even be true? I don't think you're going to use that one.
I know you want me to.
I want you to get to the point of that, but I'm realizing that's a hard point to get to for you right now. I want you to get to the point because you have had so many actual rejections, or at least have stayed in your mind as rejections, that nobody has done successful countering of that. So you do think it's true. I don't think this would help you right now with the being pathetic. What about distress tolerance skills? Just something to do to get your mind on something else, because you know you're about to go here.
Yeah.
So instead of being I am pathetic, it could be what? Something that really could be get your attention and just get your mind out of the whole question of why did this happen, or what does this say about me?
So, like, distract my mind?
Yeah, what would be a good way?
I could do Sudoku?
What?
Sudoku?
Does that get you going? Does that engage your mind?
Yeah. But I don't know if
Okay.
my teachers will like that.
Oh, if you're sitting in class doing it.
Yeah. Like, at home I have that in my room, but
Yeah.
do you think my teachers will get mad?
I think it'll vary from teacher to teacher, wouldn't it? I'm just thinking of, like you said, I may not.
Yeah.
Sudoku, or you might have different options depending on the circumstance, but maybe some kind of drawing, because you can really get into drawing. Depends on the class, depends on the situation. Or just bringing your mind, if it's an interesting teacher at the moment. You know, so you could bring your attention to what's going on. Okay, so where are we? We cross these out, and you say, next time you're in this situation, where you start to realize, here I am, I'm in my old X is not interested, I'm hurt, and it's catastrophic mind.
Yeah.
One thing you do is you start saying to yourself, of course I feel hurt, and it's natural. It isn't pathetic that you feel hurt. Of course I feel hurt. And I would add, let me add to this because I just realized part of the problem. Of course I keep hoping it'll work out. it isn't, because that's the thing that seems to make you feel really pathetic, is that you keep hoping. You somehow think you're an idiot because you haven't learned, but that's not true. If you could say to yourself, of course I feel hurt, and of course I keep hoping, and this feeling will get better. Oh, what are you reacting to? What are you thinking? Distract.
I just wish.
What?
I wish it wasn't true.
You wish it wasn't true.
Yeah.
That you
That nobody.
think this. You mean?
Yeah. That people. There's something about me that nobody wants. It
will work. Of course I feel hurt. It will get better. Gosh, that's so important what you just said. Yeah, that you wish that weren't true. I really want to talk about that too. That deep sense that that's true, as if you've got it down. But this is for this situation too. You both are important. So here's the thing. I want you to practice this at least once right now, so that and then I want you to write it down in your own words and make yourself sure you get it right.
Okay.
So that you've got it like a portable plan, a little crisis plan for when you're in that state of mind. Okay? So let's imagine right now that, and I know it requires imagining, is that I'm going to show no interest in you. And you're going to try to get your mind to feel like this is one of those situations. Charlie's not interested.
Okay.
This isn't boyfriend-girlfriend. This is just Charlie's not interested. I wish he was interested in me. I wish he liked me as a person. And I'm just, I'm not responding to you. I'm not saying much. And you start to feel like I'm not interested, and imagine that could feel hurtful. And could feel, at its worst, catastrophic. And then you might start to think, I'm so pathetic that I keep hoping that he would like me, or that I hope he's interested. That's pathetic about me. And that's when I want you to then be looking at these and just say to yourself, of course I feel hurt. It'll get better. And of course I keep hoping it'll work out. That's a harder one for you, I think. These are different. And this feeling will get better, this current feeling, and then to distract yourself into something. Okay.
Okay. Alright, so you want me to just...
I want us to really do this,
Right.
as close as we can to feeling this way, doing it the way we were just saying. So, why don't you... try to just involve me in conversation. And I'm warning you in advance, I'm going to show not much interest. But it's not going to necessarily be easy to read what it means, but
Okay.
but you're going to read it as that, of course I'm not interested.
Alright, this is weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So, just talk to you about anything?
Yeah, what, did you want to talk to me about something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm here, so
Uh-huh.
shouldn't we talk about a diary card or something? And
A diary card? Yeah.
yeah, you always want to look at it,
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Okay, so you don't seem you seem a little bored. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so now you want me to do...
Okay, I want you know where you're supposed to be now.
Okay.
You start to...
So... Charlie, why, what's up? Why aren't you...
I don't feel like talking right now.
Okay. Was it something I did?
No, I just, I don't feel like talking right now. I just don't. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Now, do you know what you're supposed to be doing? Okay.
And tell myself that stuff.
Okay. So, Leah, I'm back.
Okay. That was hard.
Was it hard? What was hard?
It was hard to see you be like that with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never like that.
Right. Right. But did it make you have any, did you find yourself able to get into the state of mind that maybe this felt like rejecting?
Yeah.
And it said something about you?
Yeah. It didn't feel like as real as it was like with David, but
Of course.
yeah, it definitely did not feel good.
And did you try to go in? Did you say, of course I feel hurt?
Mm-hmm.
And of course I keep hoping it'll get better? That he'll be interested? Okay.
Yeah. I definitely did more of the I like, of course I feel like hurt. Like that really.
Yeah, that's a good one for
sank
you.
in for me.
We'll make sure that because I think I could tell when we did it, when we set it up, that works better for you.
Yeah.
And this feeling will get better. It would definitely. And then distracting yourself is just to get your mind on something else.
Yeah.
But you know what? I was just realizing when we did this, what you want to say, and what I want you to be saying to yourself in those situations is, number one, I don't know if I'm reading this correctly.
Yeah.
But you're not there yet. But that could be helpful. I don't know it.
I know I should. I know I should.
I could be wrong about this. I think I'm right, but I could be wrong. That would be just one thing.
Okay.
And of course I'm hoping things work out. And of course I feel hurt because it looks like they're not right now. And then, this feeling this feeling will get better. If you could say those things to yourself literally, like a little tape, instead of the tape that says I am pathetic, it's like an alternative tape. It's like that's what I call replacement behaviors, okay? And then do something actual, physical like this, where you're getting your mind off of this, all right? Okay?
Yeah.